There are writers who are storytellers, and there are writers who are listeners. I belong to the second group. I have always been a listener. Already as a child, I loved to sit with my grandmother and her friends when they met in the afternoon for coffee and cake. I would sit among those old ladies and listen to their wise and funny stories, lulled by their homey Saxonian dialect. And later, when I spent summers in Sweden as a canoe scout, camping out in the forest and canoeing on wild Swedish lakes, I liked the evenings when everybody would be sitting around a bonfire telling stories. Sometimes it was an adventurous story about how their canoe had almost flipped over while fighting with the wind. Sometimes they talked about a recent breakup or newly found love. I never told a story. I was always listening. Just like when I listen to my partner when she is on the phone. I'm not a big fan of using the telephone myself, but she loves it. And I always look forward to when she hangs up and tells me everything they talked about and embellishes the juicy details. Recently I found out that Joan Didion is actually a kindred soul. She wrote in one of her essays that she is so small and inconspicuous that people usually overlook her. They forget that she is there, which gives her the freedom to listen shamelessly and unnoticed. So I always had this image of myself as being a listener, until finally I found out it isn't true. My mother told me, when you were little, maybe 7 or 8, you spent hours in the bathroom in the evening. And when we went to look for you, we would hear all these voices echoing from the hallway, as if the bathroom were filled with people chatting away. But only you were in there, telling yourself stories. There are writers who are storytellers, and there are writers who are listeners. I belong to the second group.